I was here 2 years ago and I just drove straight across this bridge, no problem. These barriers and this sign, it's all new. I guess they finally deemed this bridge too unsafe to drive across. But in my opinion, the bridge deck still looks safe. And the steel beams underneath are solid. I think it's good to go. If I can manage to sneak the van between these barriers, might as well do it. That was nerve-wracking. My hands are shaking, but we made it, and we also have to make that again in the future. I have to get out of here at some point, but I'm really excited. Headed out for a big adventure this time. It's gonna head up this road a bit further, find a place to park and leave the van, and we'll get started on this one. I feel like it was worth the risk driving the van across that bridge. One, because that is not far off the Stewart Cass yard and people are always driving down in there and looking around, so I feel a whole lot safer leaving my van further out here where less people travel for, I don't know how long this is going to take, like 4 or 5 days, not sure yet. And also I was thinking I might have to use 2 e-bike batteries from back there, but I'm pretty confident from this spot I can do it within one. So, worth the gamble. All that's left to do now is get packed up and get going. Trying out some new meal packs on this trip. When I was passing through Burns Lake, some things just randomly lined up in a very good way, and I had the chance to meet Juanita, who runs Fresh Trek Foods, a family-run, farm-based business. They make all these by hand. They grow the vegetables, raise the beef. It's all done right there. It was pretty fascinating, and she was very generous to donate these meal packs to me. And we also discussed the possibility of like making a special chicken pad thai version, but as far as I know, these are only for sale in BC right now, so keep an eye out for these. So I'm headed for Mount Edziza Provincial Park. I was here 2 years ago, and as far as I know, this is the very best way to do it self-supported, by biking up the Willow Creek FSR, then a little bushwhacking, then a little packraft across Modade Lake, then you hop on the Jakima Creek Trail and go from there. Last time I took a turn to the north and went up to Ice Peak, but this time I'm going to go to the south and explore around the Spectrum Range, but this approach is a really stressful one. I've never seen a road so heavily infested with grizzly bears. Last year I came out here for a bike ride and I got charged by a grizzly. It came within 10 feet. I had to spray it, so I'm trying to be really careful with my calls and I go along slowly. These narrow little tunnels are kind of scary to be in, but yeah, experience like that definitely changes your life. There's a washout in the road back there. Otherwise, yeah, I would have brought my van through this and stayed protected inside my cage. It's ridiculous. Like every 50 feet, there's another giant pile of bear scat. There must be hundreds out here. Hey! It's still there, just kind of walked off to the side. I'll see if I can sneak past. Hey! So here's the trail that'll take me towards Modade Lake. I'll hide my bike up in the trees over there. Should be all right. Onward, forward. This trail takes me most of the way to the lake. Just a small amount of bushwhacking required. I found this by looking at satellite imagery. It shows up on there. I don't know who built this, when, or why. Probably hunters, but it seems like at this point it's been abandoned. I feel like I'm the only one using it in recent times. I tried to do this trip last year. I was parked back at the start of the road. It just kept raining and raining. It never let up. It's notoriously rainy in this area. So when I saw the forecast for the coming week, just a whole flock of bluebirds, I had to get my butt out here ASAP. I'm just like so excited to have the opportunity to revisit this place. It's definitely one of my all-time favorites. The trail becomes more primitive the further you go. You kind of have to watch for these cut trees and just follow those. So now I have about 2 kilometers of bushwhacking to reach the lake. If only I would have downloaded my GPS track from the last time I did this. Could have made my life easier. I think I like to make things hard on myself, just suffer a little bit more than what's necessary. It's an ongoing theme. There's too many trees. I can't just pick a mountain peak to aim for, and it's cloudy. I can't see the sun either. So I just had to draw a straight line on my GPS map towards the lake. Every now and then I glance at it, make sure I'm staying close to that. Try to avoid any swampy sections. That seems to be where it gets worse. Or just follow Rocco. She knows the way. Easy peasy. Perfect boat launch too. Look at that. Rocco decided to put on some war paint. She rolled in something dead and incredibly stinky just before I need to put her in my jacket so we can both climb in the raft. Thank you, Rocco. Appreciate that. That says paranoia floats another day. I sure don't trust this thing. It really feels inadequate. It's nice and lightweight. It's easy to carry out to locations like this. I like that part. How about a 4-kilometer paddle straight up this lake? Seems like every section of this journey so far has been stressful in some way, but I think I can actually enjoy this part. There's just this one wide part to get across. Be really happy to get back close to the shoreline. Once again, I rubbed pine needles all over. Did not help one bit. Once I get up to this point, I should be able to see the dock. We're getting there. Last time I was here, I was so paranoid about leaving my raft here that a bear might bite it or someone would steal it. So I carried it with me on the whole trip, but I think this time I'm just gonna hide it up in the forest. It should be all right. Yeah, this is delicious, and it feels so much more like a home-cooked meal compared to the super mass-produced ones. You can tell this was made by hand and with care. Would have been nice to just like sit and savor that meal for a minute, but these mosquitoes are trying to make a meal out of us. There's a little camp spot right over there with bear bins. It's 8 o'clock, so I'm just gonna go pitch my tent, try to find some salvation away from these mosquitoes. Call it a day. On my last trip to Edziza, I got to this location much earlier in the day, so I just plowed on ahead up the trail. But it turns into an absolute nightmare from here. Like, you're crossing water up to your waist. It's all swampy and you're getting swarmed by mosquitoes. It's too late in the day to be dealing with that. I'll save that for tomorrow. Tomorrow morning it'll be a rematch with one of the most grueling sections of hiking I've ever done in my life. We shall hike the gauntlet once again. I'll see you there. Good night, everyone. Now it's time to dive right into this swamp. The first water crossing is the deepest, and after that, it's just all mucky and suction cups your feet into it. I'll slap my sandals on up here, and we'll have to stick with those for quite a distance. This is the type of hike that you're supposed to do once, tick off the box, never come back ever again. And if you do come back, you take the helicopter and you go up to the alpine, start from there. This is brutal. The trail's in much worse shape than last time too. It's hard going. The water's ice cold. I can only stand so much on my feet. Should have brought my neoprene socks. Oh no. Oh no. Ah! Ah! What am I doing? Well, I'm happy to say that part is finished for now. It's very challenging to say the least. It's some dry trail for a while now, but it does get swampy again further up. That's funny. As the sheep or goat are walking through here, all these branches are stripping off their winter coats. It's still cloudy, but I can finally start to feel the sun poking through a little bit. The forecast said it's supposed to be clear skies for the next couple days, but what an absolute beatdown it is trying to get up this trail. I've just accepted it. You gotta go at a slow pace. It's not gonna happen in a hurry. I just can't even imagine how the natives managed to get up here like 10,000 years ago. But news to me, in the past couple years, as the glaciers are receding up there, they're uncovering all these artifacts. So the natives were quite active in this area, gathering the obsidian to make tools and trade all across the northwest. But it seems entirely possible, in my mind at least, that maybe they even had a trail system built back then. But one more creek crossing to do. This one's the hardest. It's really narrow and the current is fast. I'm not too excited about doing it again. Well, I think the worst is behind me now. It's still really swampy though. It's not worth putting my boots on yet. But in the next 5 kilometers, I'll be up in the alpine and situation should improve. But it's been a really slow year for the snow to melt off, so I don't know. Maybe I'm going to be post-holing up to my waist up there. There's the perfect camp spot right here. The only question is, am I going to stop to have a siesta? Of course we are, aren't we, Rocco? I'm frustrated with myself. I had my mosquito net in my pocket. It must have got pulled out by a branch back there. Thankfully I don't really need it as much the further I continue on. But beef stroganoff, let's try this out. This is so good. This is next level camping meals. I've never eaten this good in the backcountry before. Alright, back into the swamp we go. It's 4:30 now. Be nice to get up Jakima Pass today. It's about another 5 kilometers from here. That'll be a good distance. Another campsite here. This one feels like Swiss Family Robinson. Got the whole setup. Wow. Mark it on my map. Maybe on the way back I'll sleep at one of these. Huh. Alright, I made it up the pass, finally got away from all the mosquitoes, and last time I was here I continued to the north, but this time headed to the south into some new territory for me in the Spectrum Range. I remember seeing this mysterious footpath leading off to the south. I just can't let things like this go. I need to see. Yeah, there's quite a lot of snow up here. It could make progressing difficult. I did not bring crampons along with me. I don't know how far I'm going to go. I can see Kitsu Peak there straight ahead. If I can climb to the top of that, that would be a good goalpost. Just one day at a time. Gotta keep an eye on the weather and how much food I have. But I'm pretty much done for today. Just looking for a good spot to pitch my tent. Another day, another distance. Got ourselves a really scenic spot here overlooking Tadeda Peak. We'll continue on tomorrow morning trying to tackle traversing this mountain range. Good night, everyone. Come on, let's go. Come on. I should have hiked just a bit further last night down into the valley. Then I could have woke up with the sunlight warming up the tent. Instead, I was up there in a frosty, cold mountain shadow, but I did feel safe in terms of bears sneaking up on me in the middle of the night. My tent is soaking wet. I don't like packing it wet. You do that too many times, you can ruin the seam seals on it. You have a leaky tent after that, so I'll have to stop later on in the day and dry it out. Today, it's going to be a difficult day. We have a lot of up and down as we traverse south through this mountain range. Oh, it's going to be a beautiful day today. I got some climbing ahead of me, and all these snow patches are frozen solid, really icy and slippery. I read that one of the artifacts they found was an ice pick made from an antler, and that's certainly a good tool to have when you're climbing these steep, slippery surfaces. Should have brought along my mountaineering axe, but I feel like I should be able to pick a dry line up this. When I first put my eyes on Kitsu Peak, I was like, dang, that's way too far. I'm never gonna make it. But within a morning of hiking, it already looks so much more obtainable. I'll see if I can get up to the base of it today and either climb that or maybe Yetta Peak tomorrow. Yetta it's further, it's harder to reach, but I think it would be a really good viewpoint to see all the colors of the spectrum range. This is the crux of today. I gotta drop 400 meters down into this valley, then regain it all back up the other side. I've just been keeping my head down and my eyes peeled as I hike, and I've managed to find a few little pieces of obsidian scattered about. So I came down through there, took a little nap over there. Also left my sandals there. I don't think I need them anymore. They're just extra weight. But don't let me forget them on the way out. Very important that I have them. There's piles of obsidian through here. Everywhere you look and step, there's so much. And there's millions of pieces of obsidian on the ground. Natural coincidence that one is going to look like an arrowhead, but I don't know. I mean, this one looks pretty convincing to me. Up we go, the other side of the valley. Just need to get up over this lip. And that's all I really need to do today. And find a place to camp somewhere beneath Kitsu Peak. Another delicious meal. This one has beer in it. I can definitely taste it, but kind of just like a tease. I'm really far away from having an actual beer right now. Very good. It was tempting to set up camp down there in the canyon. It's so windy everywhere else. But I'm gonna climb up this. Hopefully I can find some shelter up here. There'd just be no shelter up here. I tried my best to put the fly on, but it felt like the tent was going to be pancaked. Don't really need it anyway. I don't think it's going to rain tonight. So tomorrow the plan is to try to go for Kitsu Peak first, then take a look, see if that southern ridgeline connects on the Yeta Peak. And if I can string them together, then I may try to do that. But might have some glacier travel to do tomorrow morning, so I got to try to get up as early as possible. So good night. Tomorrow is showtime. And away we go. We got some mountains to climb today. 5:30 a.m. start. The temperature just around freezing. If everything goes according to plan, this could be a 20-kilometer day. Rocco hikes 10 kilometers of it. Be happy with that. Give her a bit of a break. She's proven herself over and over again to be an amazingly versatile adventure dog, but her main limitation is distance. Sure, if I had a big dog like a German Shepherd, I could hike 50 kilometers every single day, but I don't think I could bring a big dog like that on adventures like this. Like Rocco, she does it all. Cycling, packrafting, skiing, scrambling up mountains, keep me warm inside my sleeping bag. She's like the Swiss Army knife of adventure dogs. I'm officially on the glacier. I'm not too concerned about slots right now. All the snowpack is frozen solid. Okay, I'm a little concerned about slots. Not gonna lie, rescue is really far away. But yeah, try to get up onto that dry ridgeline as quick as I can. The snow coverage has been good up here, but there's no way of knowing. What if it's only a couple of inches and you step on an unsupported snow bridge and just fall right through it? I'm gonna see if I can take a different way back down through there where it's dry. This mountain has been a speck on the horizon for so long. It's incredible to finally almost be there to the top of it. I was standing over there. It took me a minute to work up the courage to hike up on the snow. I wasn't sure if it was a cornice, but it's all good. That might actually be the high point right there. I should go stand on it. Now that I'm over here, the other point looks higher. So between the two of them, I think I can safely claim that I've stood on top of Kitsu Peak. And how incredible it is to be here. We can see Mount Edziza poking through the clouds over there. And 100 kilometers in this direction towards the ocean is a Devil's Thumb. That's one that Alex Honnold climbed recently. And it doesn't look hopeful that I'll be able to connect on the Yetta Peak from here. So I'm going to retrace my steps back down to my tent. So I guess I have another reason to come back here in the future, but going back down through the Yakima Creek Trail, I'm content if that's the last time I ever do it. Maybe next time will have to be with a plane. I'm in no hurry to get back to the van. I'd much rather be spending my time out here. So I may try to get Tadeda or Kartuna Peak on the way back. I think I have 7 days worth of food. They're calling for rain possibly on Tuesday, which would be day 7. But it's still too early to say whether or not that's actually going to happen. The show must go on. I hit my main goal post. It's time to turn around, start heading back to the van. I got a good 70-kilometer backtrack ahead of me. I think I could hear a plane coming in. It might have been landing on Little Ball Lake, dropping off some hikers, and they do the whole traverse about 120 kilometers up to Buckley Lake and get flown out from there. They should have got here like 3 days ago, though. Make use of this good weather. I think that's one of the problems with taking a plane in. I'm assuming you have to book it like weeks in advance, then you get what you get for weather. I'm almost back down to Bourgeot Creek. I gotta make sure I remember to go fetch my sandals over here. So yeah, I came down through there, but I think on the way back, I'm gonna avoid going up that whole plateau and just cut across there and sleep underneath Tadeda Peak tonight. I don't even need GPS. Rocco knows the way. Yep, she found my sandals. I left them right there by that tree. There's no way to get around this side. It's all cut up by these drainage valleys. Should have just stuck with what I knew. Went right up over the plateau. That's what I'm doing now after wasting the last 45 minutes stumbling around on the side of the mountain. That's what you get for trying to take a shortcut. So that is Tadeda Peak right there. May try to do that tomorrow. Just gonna hike a bit further tonight, try to find a flat spot, sheltered from the wind, hopefully has water too. Call it a day. Day 5, here we go. Same routine every morning, have our breakfast, some coffee, get all packed up, start hiking. Mosquitoes are really thick here. Really hope I can pick up my head net on the way down. I think slim chance anyone else has tried to hike up that trail recently, but who knows. So today, Tadeda Peak, then we'll try to get part way down the Yakima Creek Trail tonight and stay at one of those nice camp spots that I saw. I left my heavy backpack down there, chugged some water, filled my pockets full of bars. Should be good. The summit's not too high above me, but from what I could see from a distance, it looked like it could become a climb near the top. Low exposure on this side, but it's very steep and crumbly. The top is over there. I'll go over there, see how it feels, but if I don't make it, I don't make it. It's all right. It's just such a trash pile up here. You gotta be careful what you grab onto. Likely gonna shake loose. It's just on the verge. Any steeper, and I would probably turn around. But I think we can handle this. I'm pretty sure that's the top behind me. I climbed up there, but I got a bad case of the wobblies. It's just so exposed. If only I could fly my drone here. This face behind me is just a sheer drop off. That was rough, not recommended. If you're in the area, just walk on past. Appreciate this one from a distance. There's Kitsu Peak over there. That's where I was yesterday morning. I recommend that one. It's a good side trip. From where I was sitting up there, there was another dip in the ridgeline and a gendarme that looked like it might have been a couple inches higher. It's just hard to say. Sometimes it's an optical illusion, like yesterday on Kitsu Peak. I thought I was heading for a higher point, but once I actually got there, it was lower. So if somebody comes out here with the proper tools to measure it, conjugate some waves, multiply one by one, find the proof in the ether, let me know which is the highest. The next couple hours of my life back down around through there, reconnect onto the Chikima Creek Trail. I sent Louie a message with my inReach and asked for the latest Spot WX weather forecast in this area, and she said it's supposed to be beautiful for like the whole coming week. I was like, shoot, I need to stay longer, but the odds are stacked against me. I'm really only supplied for 6 days with some leeway for a 7th in case something goes wrong. Like, what if I can't paddle back across the lake because it's too windy? What if my e-bike battery is dead from sitting out there in the cold all these nights? I'm a bit concerned about leaving my van there for so long. Surely someone has found it by now. It's only 4 o'clock, but gonna call it a day and set camp in here. It's hot out and the creek is raging. It'll be much easier to cross it first thing tomorrow morning. So we'll get some rest and tackle all that nastiness of the gauntlet that's below us tomorrow morning. Rocco was certain that something walked by the tent last night and she went bonkers, and she's still on super high alert this morning. I've never seen her like this before, but she jumped up and punctured a bunch of holes in the side of my tent. I'll have to see if I can fix that later. But yeah, this peanut butter tent is funny. This whole 10 cents off thing just speaks volumes to how old it is. And there's also this contraption that's nailed to the side of the tree. I've deduced that I think it was a Polaroid instant camera of some kind. Looks really old. I think this trail has a long history of use. But I'm all packed up, ready to go. Yeah, I don't doubt that something big walked by the tent last night. The trail is covered in bear prints. There are wolf tracks bigger than my hand. I felt much safer sleeping up high in the alpine compared to down here. Oh, no. Yes, found it. I'm back under that nice section of trail. I can just cruise right on through this and I'll be plunged knee deep in the gunk once again pretty soon. That section down by the lake is definitely the worst part of this entire trail. Yeah, day 6. This is my longest backpacking trip ever, and also the longest I've ever gone without seeing another human. I feel all right. Just like the social part of my brain feels like it's starting to go numb and atrophy and crystallize over, so it'd be nice to go see some people again. But I'd be very surprised if I see anyone coming up this trail today. Like, nobody is doing this. So much fun. That's it, we did it. We made it through that part. I really hope I didn't drop anything back there, because if I did, I'm not going back to get it. This freight train has got to keep moving forward. "15 minutes of paddling, my butt is already soaking wet and underwater. Something is wrong with this raft. I've had many grand adventures with it, but this will likely be the last. I need to retire it before it retires all of us. That is a moose swimming right across the lake. He's trying to get away from the mosquitoes. That's not a short swim either. Yeah, it's a 600-meter crossing. Just paddling my bathtub up the lake. I'm a little cleaner now than what I was when I left off. Looks like we made it. I see my docking spot. This was like finding the needle in the haystack. The fact that I just blindly bushwhacked my way out here and wound up at this spot where someone cut back all the brush. I didn't follow a GPS tracker or anything. As far as I can tell, it was just someone with the same idea and they wanted a clear spot to launch their raft from. That's so incredibly random. About an hour's hike from here to reach my e-bike, then it's got to power on through Grizzly Bear Alley and this adventure will be a wrap. That's all there is to it. Hey! Well, thankfully I made it back to the van without incident. I saw 5 black bear while biking back down that road. One of them was in one of those brush tunnels and it did a bluff charge at me. Thankfully I didn't have to spray it, but sure scared the crap out of me, that's for sure. I've never seen such a bear-infested road in my life. It just must be like the perfect habitat, and it's also so two-dimensional that you're bound to run into them, whereas up in the mountains I saw tracks everywhere, but no wildlife sightings whatsoever. But I don't know if I'd ever do Mount Edziza self-supported ever again. Never say never, but I think it would be fun to come back in the future and do the full traverse from a plane. But yeah, I'm absolutely decimated. I'm filthy. I think it's fair game to go and try and find a hotel tonight, and also try to find an ice cold beer. That would be the perfect way to end the day. But thanks for coming along on this big adventure. Hope everyone is doing good, and I will see you in the next one.